Hey guys, I hope you enjoyed I hope you're enjoying my God of War gameplay that I uploaded. I'm gonna have more of that and possibly some For Honor. and maybe me and my friend maybe we'll do some Divinity Original Sin 2, because I do have that installed as well. If I can talk correctly today. Anyway, I wanted to make this video in the hopes of creating this is the lesson of the day for me, and this has been a lesson for me for quite some time, because I'll admit, when I was a lot younger, when I was in high school, middle school, we had a computer lab in our class, and a lot of the students that were in that class weren't particularly into paying attention. Some of them were even stealing, and putting things onto their external media devices, flash drives, fire sticks. But my teacher, Mr. Meyer, who I still remember to this day, and Mr. Lowe, who I also still remember, they were really, really good computer teachers. And there's a guy at my work who shall remain anonymous, because I don't want people to figure out who he is, go after him, dox him. But there's this guy at my work, and there's a couple guys like him at my work, actually. He walks around and he plays a lot of video games, and he owns consoles. And I play a lot of video games too. I own a lot of consoles. I've got so much stuff, it isn't even funny. But when I was a little bit younger, I used to brag a lot, and I used to think that I knew more than I actually did. And over the years, maturity, I've changed. I've kind of, I understand what Chris was saying to me, what Barb was saying to me, among what many other people were saying to me, that it's important to do your factual research. Otherwise, you're just BSing, which, when you're talking about something okay, it's different if you're saying, well, actually, no, it isn't. It's no different from, like, if you're saying, oh, well, I got, for example, if you're one of those people, and there are people like this out there, if you're one of those people that kind of talk like this, oh yeah, I got first place in the COD leaderboard, and everybody else sucks because I know how to do this and this and this. And then after a while, people see through the bullshit, basically, and they realize that you actually, that didn't happen, and you're basically BSing at this point. What I'm saying is, when you know what you know, and you know it darn well, it's different compared to when somebody's just sprouting BS for the sake of it. And I know a lot of people like that. Like I say, there's people at my work, for example, that do that, and it's it's really annoying. And there's days where I work so hard that I genuinely don't want to hear the BS that's coming out of their mouth. Um, and like, you know, like if when you know your stuff and you know it well, that's a different story. Okay, like if let's say, for example, you let's say computers, for example. A person that I talk to or comes up to me, sometimes he'll say things like, "Oh, are you aware that when you are running Linux, you have to do everything from the terminal, and there's no graphical user interface?" Or another conversation I had with him, I said, I said, how do you feel about Final Fantasy? And he never actually played. He's never actually played Final Fantasy. And I realized that after, 1 or 2 days, within the first 10 minutes, I was like, and even, I came straight out and asked him. I said, have you ever played, have you, like, okay, you don't like Final Fantasy, that's fair. But have you ever actually played a Final Fantasy game? And, of course, his response was no. And then when I told him, no, in Linux you can do things from there's a graphical user interface in Linux, just like there is in Windows. He said that he might have to go home and look up some stuff. So that's what I'm talking about, is people that say things, but they really don't know what they mean. They don't know their stuff well enough. And I'm not just talking about computers or computer science. That goes for anything. It goes for, let's say, in installation of something, plumbing, any sort of occupation. I'm just using IT as an example because I do that a lot, and it's important not to talk out your ass, because at that point, eventually people can see through you, and that's not a good scene. So with maturity, and I really hope that Chris understands the point that I'm trying to get across here, which I'm sure he will, because he's a very, very smart man. My point being, the long and the short of it is, if you're the type of person that tries to make it look like or make it seem like that you know something, odds are there's always going to be somebody else that comes along and says, hey, well, I've actually had real world experience with this, and I've been in the field a little bit. I've been in this game a little bit for a while. And so, that's kind of the case with me and Evan. Is that's he's the one that's usually BSing, saying all this stuff that isn't actually true, and especially about the Final Fantasy thing. I was within the first, not even within the first 5 minutes, I could tell. I was like, and even when I asked him, I'm like, okay, you don't like Final Fantasy, but have you ever played it? He's like, no. But then, like, how can you say you don't like it if you haven't played a single one of them? I mean, and I guess maybe he has no interest, so I'll give that one to him. But as to you have to do everything within a Linux terminal when there is a graphical user interface. That's that's not something that you want to spread likely, especially for someone who does factual research and does facts check on a regular basis and sort of keeps up with it all. It's not a good scene, because at that point, and I'm going to be very apparent here in saying this. And again, it doesn't matter what it is. It could be computer work. It could be gardening, plants, farming, agriculture, whatever the case may be. It's important to understand the field that you're getting into. And, I mean, that takes a little bit of time, but once you've been in the field for a little while and you sort of do your facts checking, your factual checking and your research and all this sort of thing, and, I mean, there's things that you can learn every day. People are learning new things every day, even if you're not, like, stuff, it could be stuff in your occupation, it could be just, maybe you're in your house one day, in your car one day, whatever the case may be, but it's important, especially when it's an occupation, to know what you're talking about. You have to know what you're talking about, otherwise people are gonna look, people that have been in the field and do their factual research and their facts checks and keep up with it on a regular basis, they're gonna look at you and they're gonna see a wannabe person, and that's a person who thinks they know what they know, but they really don't know as much as they think they know, or know as much as other people know. So, guys, if you like this video, I hope I was able to get that point across well, and I hope you guys have a great day. And if you haven't seen my God of War gameplay, please give that a chance, and subscriptions are greatly appreciated. And I was trying to rest a little bit ago, but I wanted to make this video first, just so I could keep my content steady and all that. So have a good one, and I'll see you guys next time.